don't like grind yourself to the death.
I remember the first time I ever tried a protein shake and I'm like, this is what it takes to get ripped? This sucks.
You have been struggling with this for, it could be a day, it could be a week, it could be a month. More likely it's been years or a decade of neglect. And that's how you get to such a bad point, such a depressed state, such a holy shit, you're so unhealthy. Dare I say, a fat.
Bro, you're distilling 10 years of information in like 6 months.
Yeah.
Something like, a man is free at the moment he chooses to be.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls of all ages, plants, species, human organisms, and other things of that sort, welcome to I don't know which episode of the Start Yesterday podcast. Empower your journey and start yesterday. I am here with a dear friend of mine. I say that with everybody, but like, okay, I invite, obviously, I'm not just going to invite random strangers on the podcast, but I'm here with a good friend of mine. His name's Aaron. He is a health consultant, mainly focusing on like optimizing metabolic health, 10xing your energy levels. I'll obviously let him to introduce himself. So here we go. Introduce yourself.
What's going on, man? It's a pleasure to be here at this amazing studio with like soundproof walls and like you got a TV. Like, dude, this is awesome. Yeah. I'm happy to be here. I would love to drop some sauce if I can, and I want to hear some of your sauce too, man. So let's get it going, bro.
Yeah, let's do the sauce. Okay, so I guess I start every podcast because, like, I mean, a lot of people know my sob story, and they're probably bored to death about that. But for you, they don't know your sob story. Do you have a sob story?
I guess, yeah. Who doesn't have a sob story, man?
Some people, or maybe they just don't want to open up on a podcast, right? But it's to each their own. But
I'll be vulnerable as you want me to, man.
I got tissues. Let's go.
Okay, sick. So, okay, I guess I'll break down my problems. I'll go one at a time. So when I was younger, man, I was always a fat kid. Okay. And I hated it, bro. I mean, you know what it's like. You've lost 150 pounds. So congratulations for that, by the way. But yeah, man, I always would dream of looking like the guys on TV, you know, like Arnold or Stallone or some of these other guys. And I used to play Tekken, so I watch like Jin, who's like super sick. Like, you know, all these ripped guys. I'm like, I want to look like that, but I never did. I was skinny. I was fat. So I was skinny fat, which is, I think, the worst kind of physique to have.
Yeah, I would say so.
Right? Because you don't have the size of like someone that's fat does with a shirt on, but like you take your shirt off and you're fat and you're skinny. It's like, dude, it's the worst. So yeah. I was skinny fat for a long time, and then I started getting into the whole health and fitness space. I started doing P90X.
Oh, sick.
My first ever thing.
Yeah.
I remember doing like my first like 20 crunches and being like, are my abs there yet?
Honestly, same thing, dude. I would do sit-ups or crunches, if you could even call it that, at like 370. Yeah. And on the next day, I'd be sore as fuck. And I'm like, what? I still have a donut? Like,
if you had abs at 370, man, you'd be an anomaly.
I'd be sure. Eddie Hall. That's who I would be. I don't know how the fuck that guy has abs. He looks fat as fuck.
I don't know, man. But anyways, I started doing that. I started to see some results. I mean, it was the first time I really would sweat and had an intense workout. And I remember the first time I ever tried a protein shake was I got Body Fortress protein powder from Walmart. And it said, mix with your favorite cold beverage. I like orange juice. I put a scoop of vanilla protein powder in orange juice. I yacked, dude. I swear to God.
I thought that would be good. That's like orange creamsicle.
It was the nastiest thing I ever had. And it was clumpy. And I'm like, this is what it takes to get ripped? This sucks. Anyways, I continued this process. I got some dumbbells from Canadian Tire. And I was still skinny fat for a long time. I started to get strong when I was around 18, 19. I tore my rotator cuff on my right side. I was doing 75-pound dumbbell press. Tore my rotator cuff. I didn't know I tore it at the time.
Oh, shit.
But it was fucked. I remember I biked to the Good Life near my house. I had to bike back with one arm, the other one hanging. It was bad. It was bad. So I had a shoulder injury for 7 years that debilitated me. I still trained whilst having that injury, but it was never the same, man. Yeah. You're not going to hit your peak level. So anyways, I did a surgery, and I've been through the whole like depression, anxiety. I didn't like the way I looked. I didn't have social skills. I went through all of that to come to the other side and be like, life is really good when you work on yourself.
Amen.
And it feels fucking amazing. And as long as you're grateful for what you have, you're going to keep getting those things. So that's pretty much my expedited sob story. There's a lot more. We can get into that at another podcast probably. But
no, that's good. That's like the quick synopsis. That's like when you're at the Blockbuster. Well, shout out Blockbuster. Rest in peace.
Yeah, rest in peace.
I used to love going to Blockbuster and reading like the 2 paragraphs on the back of the movie. I didn't need to watch the trailer. Like now I have to watch, bro. Before I decide on the movie, I watched like 12 different fucking trailers.
What?
Right?
I don't watch trailers.
No, I have to, because it's like if I'm not entertained by like the 2 minutes of that trailer, I'm not watching 2 hours of that shit.
I get that.
And I just can't be bothered to read. But when I was younger, oh, that was the shit. I would I'd read the back of the box and I wouldn't understand most of the words because I'm kind of dyslexic. But then the words that I did understand, I would like put the pictures together and then I'd go get the candy. Oh, bro, I don't know how I do know how they closed down because they didn't buy they didn't buy Netflix. But man, they probably made a killing when they was at the peak.
Dude.
You're just renting movies. And then like the markup on candy, they would charge like $5 for a candy bar.
And you'd buy it every time.
Every fucking time. That's like the experience.
Yeah, Dollarama is my candy spot now, honestly.
Honestly, I don't know. It's a toss up between Bulk Barn and
Bulk Barn is dangerous though, man.
Bulk Barn is dangerous because you go there, you get all this shit, and then they're like, okay, you're gonna need a second mortgage. But they have shit at the Bulk Barn that they don't have at Dollarama. I really like these like they're called OMGs clusters.
Oh,
those are so
bro,
good.
Okay, we gotta be careful about what we're talking about right here because I'm fasted. And man, like I'm not eating no junk food today.
Yeah.
I'm doing like this thing where it's like 10 days like Whole Foods and then one refeed / like free day.
Yeah.
Because I don't like the word cheat. It just sounds bad.
It's dirty. I call it a reward meal.
I like that too.
I don't, because you're not cheating. You're fucking cheating if you're just having a cheat meal that, like, if you're my client and we didn't discuss it and you're just, hey, I feel like a burger. Fuck you. Earn the burger. Earn the burger.
Earn it.
Right? And then it's a reward, right? Or a great strategy that actually I used to do when I was fat is I would go for ice cream, or I would like ice cream, right? And so one of the ways I was able to lose weight while eating ice cream, I was going to say pizza, but there was literally a Domino's next door, so that's not relevant. I was like their number one customer for a decade, but the ice cream was a little bit a ways away. I'm trying to think how far it was. Point is, I would look up, or if you're trying to do this, like look up where the closest, or in walking distance or driving distance, like 3 to 10 minutes away in terms of like an ice cream store, and literally just walk there, right? So it's probably gonna be like a 30, maybe a 45-minute walk, but then here's the benefit. You're gonna go there, you're obviously gonna burn calories, right? To a certain extent, get whatever the fuck you want. Maybe just like don't do what I do, and I would go to like Yogan Frus or Munchies, and I would ask them for their liter takeaway.
Oh my god!
And I wouldn't take it away. I would eat it on. But okay, don't do that. Get like do a logical human size cup. Put whatever toppings you want on it, and then go eat it, and then walk back. So you almost kind of negated the little shitty like reward meal.
I love that idea. It's almost like a side mission, and it's kind of like an adventure you're going on. And sometimes when I do that, because I do the same strategy as you, sometimes I'll go and halfway I'll be like, you know what? I don't even want to have that. And I'll find another trail and I'll go somewhere else. So there's a chance that you might. But if you're driving there and you're in the parking lot and like your head's down and the people are looking at you and they know you're doing something bad and you feel like shit, that's the worst, man.
No, for me, like for me with a lot of things, it's black and white. Like head down, I'm gonna go get that fucking ice cream. The only way I'm not going to get that ice cream is if I see an ice cream truck on the way. But then I kind of defeat the purpose. Like there's an ice cream truck a lot of times near my house because I live near a park. I'm not a pedophile, just to clarify that. Just happenstance, there's a park near my house, and there's always an ice cream truck there, but I have to like have self-control and like, because my favorite ice cream is like the soft serve where it's like a mixture of chocolate and vanilla.
Dude, you're speaking my language, man.
That's like
we're the same people, bro.
I think my second favorite would be like Ben and Jerry's. They have a s'mores flavor that's really good.
Oh my god, what about Dairy Queen though?
Dairy Queen. So I really like Dairy Queen's like they have s'mores. But I'm a s'mores whore. I have a shirt. I have a logo actually. When I had a meal prep company, a lot of people don't like recent times. They don't know I had a meal prep company, but I had a shirt that said s'mores whore on it. Dude. Anything s'mores related, I love it. The McFlurry. It's right now like August something in July or in 2024. They have the McFlurry s'mores flavor at McDonald's. It's really solid. I wouldn't say it's great.
Until when?
I think for like a month or so, because they're competing with Dairy Queen.
Amazing.
So, anyways, I'm not sure we're held up in this podcast talking about fucking ice cream.
Taking notes. I mean, this is what we work for, guys. I mean, we train hard for this.
That's true. I mean, honestly, like people ask me all the time because I eat like shit. Like, okay, so I went to Europe for literally almost a month, and I lost weight in Europe. Okay, and I went on vacation. I'm gonna repeat this again. I went on vacation for a month, and I lost weight. Beast. And I've literally documented what I ate. And people ask me, how the fuck did I lose weight? And I ate like shit. It comes down to exactly. He's doing the walk, man. You can't see if you're not watching video, but it was a shit ton of walking. I averaged like 25,000 steps.
Dang.
It was intentional, but also not intentional because in Europe you kind of have to walk that much. Maybe not that. Sometimes it was intentional. But then it was also on my metabolism. So because I had muscle and I worked out, what a crazy concept, that metabolized and like I was able to process more food, right? So I would probably say I was averaging way over 3,000 calories a day. I didn't even track, right?
Wow.
But I literally lost 5 pounds because I was expending more than I was inputting, and I was eating like shit.
And it was probably because in Europe, there's something about the whole folic acid. You heard about this thing?
No.
Where like the pasta, you could eat the pasta there. You're not feeling bloated like you're feeling when you have pasta here, man.
Oh, I've never eaten pasta.
You've never eaten pasta?
I don't like pasta. No.
Okay.
Italian food, a lot of people are going to hate me for this. My least favorite, so my least favorite cuisine is by far Indian. My second most overrated and least favorite cuisine is Italian. If we were to take pizza, and I don't even like Italian pizza. I don't like brick oven pizza. I like Detroit style pizza. If we would take pizza out of the Italian category, I like zero regarding that cuisine.
Wow.
Right.
Interesting.
Yeah. I mean, I really want to go to Italy, but I would find a hard pressed, like, I'm just probably going to eat like a lot of pizza that I don't love.
I will tell you that the pizza that I've had in Italy is really good, but I do also think that it's overrated. The cool thing about it is each ingredient is so fucking pure and organic. Like you're having arugula from like the farm, like a kilometer away.
Fresh,
The bread is so crispy and nice. It's like mozzarella. You can't even say mozzarella. It's really good, but personally, I'm like, dude, put like 8 toppings of like chicken, beef, all that kind of meat on, like deep fried. Like that's my kind of stuff.
My type of shit is Meat Lovers Pizza 101.
Yeah, dude.
I just sometimes I put ground beef on it, and the ground beef is kind of shit. But I love bacon on my pizza. I love chicken on my pizza. Honestly, it's a weird topping. I like corn on my pizza.
I've never heard of that ever. I'm down to try it. I'm not going to judge it.
I wouldn't have a corn pizza on its own. It's like nice, just a little sprinkle of corn.
It's a little crunch, right? Yeah.
Sometimes I'll make my own pizza. I'll do like turkey pepperoni, and then I'll add some corn.
Cheat code.
Cheat code is turkey pepperoni. That's a great hack. Like if anybody, and genuinely, even if you just like you're buying a dough, like you're not even making your dough yourself. You're buying a dough at the store, and you want to cut calories and you want to make a pizza healthy. Just measure out your cheese, the sauce. Honestly, most pizza sauces are not high in calories, and then instead of pepperoni, do turkey pepperoni because it's high in protein and really low in fat, and it tastes so freaking similar.
Guys, take notes. I was in Rome and I asked the lady, I'm like, can I get ground beef and chicken on my pizza? She looked at me like I was a terrorist, not only because I'm Afghan, but because she's like, dude, like,
you're African?
Afghan.
Oh,
Afghan.
I was like, I don't think the complexion's working.
I mean, I play ball like an African, but nah, I'm Afghan. But yeah, she looked at me like I was crazy, and I'm like, oh, that's not a thing here. She's like, no. I'm like, all right, sorry.
That's understandable. I mean, like, it's just like you're gonna like lose your citizenship, or like
100%.
you're getting kicked out of the country. Well, you're not a citizen of Italy, but like you're just gonna get asked to leave the country.
They take it seriously over there.
All right. Well, going back onto the health and fitness topic.
Yeah, side reel.
Well, it's okay. It makes for an interesting conversation.
100%.
So you tore your rotator cuff. You were skinny fat. You had the dumbbells from Canadian Tire. And then I guess take it from there. Like, how'd you go from that to, I guess, here? Well, I mean, there's obviously a lot of nuances.
Yeah, man, it's been like a 12-year journey since I got into this whole fitness space. My lucky number's 13, so I'm really excited for this next year. It really is such a long journey, and just before I get into that story, I find that, man, the cool thing about what we do, like helping people optimize their lives, increase their health and fitness levels, is like we've been through so much shit.
Oh, yeah.
We've made so many mistakes. So we can distill 12, 13, I'm not sure how many years you've been in health and fitness, but
it's getting close to a decade.
Bro, you're distilling 10 years of information in like 6 months.
Yeah.
And people are like, why does it take so long? Dude, you have no idea. Like, you have no idea how much shit you can go through. Like, if I actually was smart enough to get a personal trainer when I was 17, he wouldn't allow me to do stupid shit like tear my rotator cuff. If I knew to do shoulder press like this and not like this, I would have been good.
That's so true.
So at that point, I used to think it's a waste of money. And I used to judge that space like, yo, you can find this information online. But there is so much stuff. There's a paradox of choice with information. If you have someone that's a professional that knows what they're talking about, to be like, okay, read 1,000 pages versus read a couple of paragraphs. So that's my little like side rant, by the way. But yeah, after that, man, I found this passion, and like there's been so many different aspects of my life. I've had so many seasons of my life and so many different side missions and characters that I've played, including being an actor for 5+ years. I kind of, the only thing that I really held, I guess, close to my heart, and I've never not been prioritizing, is my health and my fitness. Yeah, I've gotten a little chubby at times. Yeah, I've gotten really lean, and I've had different phases, but I've always had a priority of keeping fit, you know, going on walks, taking care of the whole holistic approach of health and fitness, which includes your mental health as well. So I guess the next step after that, after hurting my shoulder, getting surgery, which was right before COVID, I did my surgery. I was so grateful for it, man. I remember I couldn't even lift my arm, but I knew it
got worse, right?
I mean, when you do shoulder surgery, they pretty much tore open my shoulder. They didn't completely repair the tear, but I had bone spurs coming out of different parts of my shoulder, which caused inflammation. So I'd brush my teeth, it'd be in pain. I'd be writing, it'd be in pain. So when you get used to such a debilitating thing, which I can probably guess being really overrated.
I had chronic back pain.
I can totally imagine. When you go through that for so many years, when you come on the other side, the amount of gratitude you hold is fucked. Like it's insane. So I'm extremely grateful to be in the position I'm in. I'm extremely grateful to be healthy because I feel like health is the number one aspect of wealth, in my opinion.
Oh, yeah.
There are 4 different drivers that people hold in terms of their motivation for life. This is what I've heard, at least. There is finances, right? So the money that you make. There is fame. So the amount of status you hold in the marketplace, I guess you could say. There's freedom, which is my number one motivation for life, period, for myself and my family and my friends. And then there's fornication, so sex. There's a lot of guys that we know that's all they think about, and they can't think about anything else other than, okay, I'm just going to meet up with this girl. I'm going to do this. Like, to each their own. But for me, man, it's freedom. And whatever I can do to create this life of freedom. So anyways, long story short, did acting. I've done 20 plus jobs in my life. I've made money in many different ways, some legal, some illegal. But now I'm completely legal.
Allegedly.
And I've started this journey coaching friends and family, because when you make a transformation, people start to ask, right?
Definitely.
You start to help them out for free. You find out what works, you find out what doesn't, and then friends start to ask you. And then it got to the point where I started training at a gym professionally, and I noticed that my best clients and the ones that were most enjoyable for me were the executives, were the entrepreneurs, were the CEOs, the guys and the gals, but I specifically work with guys that are so in tune with their business. Their time management is right. All they need are the instructions and they follow them. And I find that a lot of Gen Pop are asking way too many questions, and you almost have to work so hard to even get them to do the first step. Whereas if I just tell one of my CEO clients, hey man, this week we're going to do this, they do it. And so that's why I decided to work with these guys. And it's been really good ever since, man.
Well, there's a lot to unpack. I wrote some notes, but when you mentioned the shoulder, I definitely relate. I didn't tear my shoulder, but it's funny. Actually, I had a client. He tore his pec, similar to you. Didn't know what the fuck he was doing. Shout out to Johnny. He's been one of my longest. He doesn't give a fuck. He's been one of my longest clients. I'm blessed. He's the first client I've ever worked with. He invited me to his wedding, so I love this guy.
Shout out Johnny, man.
But it's in October. We got back together, started working together. He's down like 30 pounds for the wedding. Anyways, that's a whole other story. Wow. I'll probably have a video of him or pictures of him soon once we finish his cut for the wedding. Point is, now he's bulking. He had the pec minor. He tore it completely, and then he kept benching. He didn't know. Fuck. He was like, "Why is this shit all purple?" He didn't know, and he went from a plate to a 10 pounds a side. He didn't understand, and then he realized he tore his shit. And then when we started working together, that goes to the aspect of if you had a coach. I when I was 17, I hired a coach. It would avoid a lot of injuries, right? And then in terms of the pain of you're living with this chronic debilitating pain with your shoulder. I had back pain for probably a decade. It was so bad. I could not stand for longer than 10 minutes. I stood for longer than 10 minutes and without moving, my back would flare up. I'd have to sit. I literally got fired actually from my first job. I worked at a chocolate store. Yes, that didn't help with the fat, but I was working there and they fired me because they wanted me to stand at a tent or attention all the time, introduce a high. Nobody fucking came to the store, so I would just sit most of the time, and they basically fired me because I was sitting. I could have bitched about it and got a doctor's note and all this shit, but no, that was the moral of the story. But
probably worked out anyways.
I mean, I think you fast forward, yeah. The biggest thing though to touch on was when you mentioned your one of your regrets was like when you were 17, not having a coach to work with. And whether it's Johnny or whether it's myself, I literally had a coach when I was 17. And I know Johnny, if he were sitting in this room, he would say the same thing. Shit, I wish I would have hired or worked with me sooner, right? Or anyone. It doesn't have to be me. It doesn't have to be you, right? But I say this on almost every podcast. What people don't realize is when you're working with a coach or hiring a coach, you're not just getting motivation. You're not just getting accountability, but you're getting the knowledge and you're fast tracking results 2, 3, 5, most of the time 10x. And that's unintentionally like your thing. You're literally 10xing results because you have experience that they don't have. You have worked with hundreds of people in their exact same shoes and know exactly what they need to do with a few specificities or specifications, like, and basically to customize to that person, like preferences. And it's going to fast track all the results versus all this fucking guesswork. Right. And I personally, I don't niche in terms of like top G's executives, but of the guys that I've had success with, typically it's because they are business people or entrepreneurs or business-y people, because they understand, okay, I'm going to hire a coach, I'm going to do what he says, I'm going to get results, right? And the average Joe Schmo, not that there's anything wrong with that, they don't compute that, right? They want to like go on TikTok until their face is blue, right? And then listen to this guy and this guy and this guy, and then they're all this information all over the place and not knowing where to start, not knowing what to do, and then getting confused and frustrated because they're trying everything under the sun, right?
Great fucking point.
So, I mean, obviously, we're both somewhat biased because we're both coaches, but it's also like we're not coming at this from the perspective like you could literally hire anybody. I don't care. Like genuinely, I'm not saying that to be a dick. Like obviously, if you're trying to lose weight, maybe hire me. If you're trying to lose weight and you're like a CEO, maybe hire Aaron. But besides that point, like you shouldn't be on the fence. Like literally, every single athlete in practical existence, the top Olympian, like Chris Bumstead, Ronnie Coleman, the best athlete, Tom Brady, Michael Jordan, they all had coaches. They all had multiple coaches, right? And even from business standpoints, right? Now I can call myself an entrepreneur. Obviously, I'm still a trainer, a coach, whatever. I'm also an entrepreneur because I have a business. I run a business, right? I have a business coach. You probably have a business coach or had a business coach. I know my business coach has a business coach and his business coach. And it's not an MLM. The reason for that is because they're hiring people that are in the position that they want to be and getting them faster to that goal, right? So if I'm hiring someone that has worked with other coaches or trainers to help them get to an X amount of denomination or financial amount per month, and he's done it with 100 people, why the fuck wouldn't he help me do that too? Right? That's just like my little rant on that.
Fuck yeah.
But I resonate completely, right? And then in terms of, I just wanted to touch on the 4 different drivers of life. I agree with all of it. I feel like men especially, they get way too caught up in the sexification. I think that's a really cool word. It reminds me of Red Hot Chili Peppers, the Californication. Because when you first said that, when you first said that, that's what I thought I heard. I went to their concert 2 weeks ago. It was great. I cried.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I cried. It was beautiful.
Which song did you cry at?
I think it was Californication.
Fuck, man.
Because I've listened to that, I don't know, 200 times.
Wow.
And I've always wanted to go to their concert. But I don't know, the timing didn't work, or I was too scared to go alone. And it's like, there's a whole other thing. But like now I'm confident enough with like, I don't really give a fuck. I'll go to a concert on my own.
Good for you.
Right. Not that I would love to go to a concert on my own, but like, you know, I'm not going to, not enjoy life and not give myself that experience or opportunity just because what? Like, I don't have someone to accompany, but I like, no, fuck, I'll enjoy my own company.
Hell
right?
Yeah.
So I feel like a lot of guys, they think with their dick and not their brain, and that shouldn't take over their life. And it's like I don't know about you, but I don't know many players or a lot of guys that fuck a lot of women that are actually in a financial position that they're successful. Which it's crazy because most women, like you would think, or most women do want to, like they want like a successful guy, but then they'll also like be stuck with like these douchebags, right? And like they'll be played and like they'll get cheated on, and like this guy will fuck like 20 different women in like 20 months. I don't know, right? That's just my 2 cents on that. Like, I mean, I'm not like the biggest, I'm not gonna lie, I'm not like the biggest, what's the word? I'm not like a man whore, right? And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with like fucking around, especially like when you're younger, experience, do shit. I don't know, like have an orgy, but like that shouldn't take over your life, right? And
100%.
I feel you should focus on what's more important to you, whether it's money, whether it's status, or whether it's freedom. I think freedom should be the most important. For me, the only thing I would say in the contrary to that is, for me, financial success is freedom to me, right? So it's not like freedom, like it's kind of hand in hand, because I can't really see a scenario or like potential life without having financial freedom to get to freedom. You know what I mean?
Let me give you an example to kind of paint that picture, because I used to think that way too. But we all know those typical examples of each of those kind of guys or girls that are motivated by those particular things. But when I say freedom, I'm talking like, even think of like a homeless guy or a hobo, I think you call him.
Hobo's just like degrading.
Well, I guess, I'm not sure. For my opinion, a hobo was someone that goes from place to place, is kind of nomadic, and then a homeless person has like no choice but to be home. But with either sense, I'm not trying to be degrading anyways. I actually work with homeless people as well. It's a side story.
Oh, that's cool.
But if you're homeless by choice, and you've left your family life and you've left that conventional life, and you've decided to have a little spot under the bridge, and you're happy that way because you're free, you don't have to go to work, you don't have anyone to say yes or no to, that is a sense of freedom.
Yeah, it is actually.
Because one of my favorite quotes of all time is something like, "A man is free at the moment he chooses to be." And when I first read that, it hit me like a brick, man. Because I was like, man, my goal is freedom, but I can literally be free right now if I start to take away those constraints that society gave to me after all these years. Boom, Voltaire. Shout out Voltaire. He's been dead a long time, but he's a smart guy, man. It's a fucking choice, man. And so I would think,
I like it.
I would say the first step is like, okay, first of all, I love how you said this whole idea of you don't need anybody, and like I can go to concerts by myself, because that's the ego, man. The ego is so powerful, and you need to understand what your ego is telling you, but you need to enjoy your own company before anybody else can, right?
Oh, that's a fucking clip right there.
Yeah, if you enjoy your own company, if you're confident with yourself, if you like to be in a room by yourself with your thoughts, you're good.
Yeah.
You are a person that anybody can fucks with, because your energy's there, and vibrations are real, man. Like, people say frequency, but frequency actually has to do with music. And that's one of my clients, who's the CEO of a sound therapy company, taught me. He's like, nah, man, they're two different things, frequency and vibrations. But anyways, you don't need anybody, right? And if you realize, okay, you know what? I am driven a lot by women. That's fine. I'm not here to judge, but make your life to the point where when you do associate with these women, you're making their lives more enjoyable too. You're not just using them for, the gifts that they have. You're making their lives more fun, and you're taking them places, and you're doing this and you're doing that. And yeah, maybe she returns the favor or you return the favor, so be it, right? But I think it's important to understand what your motivation is, and I'm glad that we both have established that we're really focused on freedom. And yeah, for us, man, money is a tool to get there.
Yeah, but I wish there's some days where, like, I have a buddy who lives in Serbia. He used to live in Toronto. He was born in Serbia, then they moved here, and they moved back because the whole vaccine, COVID stuff. It's a whole other topic. There's no point in getting into that.
That's another podcast.
Fingers crossed, we're done with that shit. I feel like we're on similar pathways with that. Anyway,
I think so
but
too.
He moved back because of that. And some days he's like, he messages me. He's like, I'm just done. I'm bored. He works a 9 to 5, but then he's also like content. So it's like that. And as for me, like, recently I've been dealing with like chronic fatigue, and it's because of burnout. Like, I've been working like 90 hours a week nonstop, like to the point where my doctor had to prescribe me an off day.
Wow.
Right. And then I got a sleep study done anyways. I'm trying to figure it out.
I seen that. I want to
It's getting better. It's getting better like over the last 48 hours. But like, I'm not at the point, and it's both a good thing and a bad thing with like where my brain's at. I can't like just tranquility or peace. Like, I don't know if that's ever going to be a thing that I can achieve. Like, I could imagine a scenario where instead of working 90 hours a week, I could drop it to like 20 or 30. But then there's still obviously going to be stresses and whatever. But I don't know. I think I'd rather that than like, there are some people, and I almost envy them, where they're content working a 9 to 5, or they're content being homeless under a bridge. Right. And I don't think there's honestly anything wrong with that, as long as they're not like in Toronto. Well, not saying don't be homeless in Toronto. It's just like, because like geographically, like the weather is not your friend. Right. Go and be homeless in like California. Right. And there's a fuck ton of them in there. But as long as that's their choice, I'd feel so bad if there's someone in that position where they're not choosing to be. If someone's choosing to be like a nomad or a hobo, which it's debating if that's degrading. I don't know. There's a rapper called Hobo Johnson, but
I never heard of that.
Yeah, I think it's Hobo Johnson. I'm not trying to butcher it, but point is, yeah, I don't know. Like, money's a necessary evil, and it is a driver. And for me, it's a driver. So then to eventually, and like, I have a business coach, and he's like, well, what's your actual end goal in your month to month? And it's like, I don't have a number. I think if I had a number, it'd be more attainable and achievable, because like what I thought was achievable, I've already 3x that. So it's like, I don't know, right? I don't think 100 grand. I don't need to make 100 grand in a month. That'd be cool, but like, holy shit, I don't want an infrastructure where it's like I have all these employees, because that's what's necessary to get there, because then that's more stress. My only goal right now, and he made me make like a vision board and a vision board, and he did, and this is actually a really cool mental mindset challenge. If anybody's struggling with gratitude or like affirmations or like figuring out your shit, make yourself and pretend to make yourself your own Wikipedia page. So what I mean by that is basically I broke down like my starting point, like, okay, Puffy was a little Puffy, and then he had an eating disorder, and then he became a big Puffy, and then he got really depressed, and then all the shit that everybody knows, and then I lost 150 pounds, and then I started putting in the pictures of like what I want to happen, right? So then I helped 1,000 people lose 100 pounds. I became a motivational speaker. I wrote a book. I got I said I got a plaque on the Canada Hall of Fame.
Wow.
Right. And then I sold my company to like, I think it was like not Orange Theory, like Peloton or some shit like that. I sold it for like $100 million, right? But it helped me paint a picture. And then the moral of the story, and then what was my why, was right now my only goal, and this sounds cheesy, but it's true, I don't have a arbitrary number. I just want to make as much money as possible, so then I could throw it in my dad's face and tell him to retire. I want to retire my dad. I want to retire Puffy Senior, because that man is a big proponent of my life, and without him I'd definitely be dead.
Wow.
I didn't have a lot of social friends when I was going through the state. I didn't go to high school for a long time. I have one friend that stuck through me, and that was Noah, but there was a lot of times where Noah wasn't available because he had other friends that he was seeing in real life. I got into it with other podcasts. I didn't really go into high school, basically. And so without my dad being my friend, he was not my dad. He was like my best friend. And he still is my best friend. If I got married tomorrow, he'd be my best man at the wedding.
Wow.
Right? Whether he told me he didn't want that. But like, I'm not getting married anytime soon. So like, whatever. I'll just tell my dog he's my best man. But yeah, without him, I would not be here. And he literally paid for my coach. Right?
Wow.
Anyways, I don't know how we got on that, but
that's amazing, man.
I would say for anybody watching this, that is a really good mental challenge or thing to do, which is like basically make your own Wikipedia page and talk out loud the perfect or the future perfect that you want to see, and how you could actually do things to get that into place. Right? It doesn't have to be like 100% realistic. Do I really think I can sell Puffy Got Buffy for $100 million, knowing everything I know about business and LTV and CAC and churn rate? Absolutely fucking not. There'd have to be a tremendous amount of things that would shift. But what I can see happening is like me being a motivational speaker or going to schools and talking to children. Even if I make an impact on one person's life, like that's cool. Clip that, put it on YouTube, it blows up, whatever. You know what I mean?
Dude, fucking amazing, man.
Yeah.
That is super solid. And there's so many different points I want to make before you even ask me a question. So if you don't mind, splash. That went in, by the way.
No, it didn't.
No, it didn't. There's nothing to go in, anyways.
No, there's a garbage bag there. I couldn't.
Oh, is there?
Yeah, there. I don't think you can see it.
You completely missed that.
Oh, I can't play basketball, bro.
But I'm gonna give you some of your flowers because there's so many different points there, and I want to go through one by one. And thank you for this notepad, because I also have self-diagnosed ADHD, but I think it's a superpower. So it's how you look at it, right? So I'm going to go through it at different levels, and if you want to stop me at one point, okay, go ahead. But anyways, first of all, I think peace of mind is a choice. I'm going to start at that. I think there's been many times in my life where I have decided to be a person that has peace of mind, and I don't want to sound like I'm gloating or anything, but I feel like I do. I'm nowhere close to where I want to be, but I think peace of mind is fucking, it's everything, man. Most people, I have clients that are rich, like way richer than I could ever be, but they're not as peaceful in their mind as I am.
That's sad, actually.
Which isn't, it is very sad because it's a choice, right? And the second thing, you're a high achiever, bro. I'm a high achiever. People that are like us, it doesn't matter how much we work, our energy is like radiating. We're like this because we're hungry, bro.
I feel a lot of people that are on this level, A, they have ADHD, and B, they've all been to like a mental hospital.
Dude.
And like, not to throw, I don't want to say his name, but you know who I'm talking about. He talked about it in another podcast, and I had another guest on. She went to a mental hospital. I never actually went to a mental hospital. I probably could have. But you're almost at the level of like delusion, but it's a good sort of delusion. That's why the Joker is like my favorite comic book character of all time. Villain, hero, doesn't matter. It's flawed logic to a certain. I'm not saying to kill random people or innocent people for no reason, but when you're telling Batman to kill a bad guy, I think that's actually logical. Because if you think about it, if Batman actually just killed everybody, like, and the villains, he wouldn't have to keep fucking fighting them.
That's right.
Right? But that's like delusional logic. But I think there's anyways, kind of going off topic. I don't want to talk about comics, but
it's a great point, man. You almost have to be delusional with your own goals because otherwise you're just going to be a sheep. And I'm not saying sheep as in you're bad, but I don't. You said you wish you could do that. No, you don't, man. Because I fucking don't wish. You're doing multiple podcasts in a day. Most people wouldn't even think about doing one podcast. You're doing multiple in a day because you're hungry. It doesn't matter how much you work. When your vibrations are high, when you focus on your health, you prioritize that shit. I could sleep half an hour and be up and like just hungry, bro, because I know what I want and I'm getting after it. Another thing that you said, money is a necessary evil. Do you really believe that?
I feel like it's the root of all evil, and I think that's a Jay-Z quote, but like it's almost like there's a quote from Hermosi or someone where it's like you haven't made enough money yet because you haven't given it away, or like you want to make so much money that you could actually do good with it. And like, so there's both pros and cons, and I'm not saying like it's evil because you have to fucking scam people or rob people or like this and that. Like there's obviously dicks that do that. I'm not saying that, but it's a necessary evil just because it's like it's a cornerstone. It's a building block. It's just like it's an essential thing that you need in order to do shit, right? Well, in the 1800s it was like gold, but instead of money it was gold. So then you just need gold, right? So I just think it's the root of all evil, both good and bad, because evil is like it causes stress, right? Or evil, it could be like it causes divorce, right? But I feel like if you use it properly, it could yield a lot of good. But it's a double-edged sword.
Okay, I get that, because if I may, I'm going to disagree. I think that those kind of ideas that people hold dear to their hearts is one of the biggest reasons why people can't attain it, because they see it as something bad, so they're almost running away from it. I don't think it's the root of all evil, because, dude, if right now we had 10x the amount of money we had, I know we'd be doing good.
Yeah,
because we already do good, and now imagine if we have the tools to be able to do 10x the good. Are you kidding?
That's true. I feel like we would be able to, like, what's the word, service or provide even more value, right?
Yes.
Like I'm a content machine on a very low level, like compared to, let's say, most people making what I make or the following that I have, the amount that I put into content. It's not okay. Fundamentally, to break the fourth wall, like a Deadpool, right? Like, yeah, I do it because I want more eyeballs and like more clients. But then it's also before that, and genuinely, which is like my purpose, is to help people.
100%.
Right. So I feel like if I had 10x the income, I would probably just have higher production and just fucking run an ad on every post.
Well, that's right. And because you're using it as a tool to help more people. And if you want to really help more people, then you kind of need that tool to be able to expand that. So for me, that was a big thing that I had to break. It was like a limiting belief for me that, yeah, if I make money, someone else is losing it. And it's like, no, man, there's enough out there. It's just a resource.
It's literally a printed resource. Bro, look at what they did with COVID.
I know.
Right? Again, not going over that, but like money is just like a fucking fake thing. So that's one thing I will completely agree with you. Like when someone's like, I can't make this amount of money, like so the big number for a lot of people is like, I need to make 10,000 a month. It is so freaking easy to make 10. Okay, not if you're in India. Okay, or like I'm talking like if you're in North America, maybe not Mexico. If you're in the US or Canada, okay, it is so easy to make 10,000 a month as long as you're not working for someone else. Good luck if you're working 9 to 5. But even if you're working 9 to 5, you make like 70 grand a year. It's pretty easy if you have the drive and ambition and motivation to then do a side hustle. And on the weekends, you put your head down, like you start whatever this thing is, and you work 12 hours a weekend. You could then make enough money to make 10 grand a month. And then people are like, nah, I can't. It's too much, too unrealistic. Oh my God. It's so freaking easy in my opinion.
I think it's once you do it, then you get to see, and it's the same way of like losing weight.
Yeah.
Someone that is 150 pounds overweight, they don't even know where to start.
Well,
a lot of the times they're like, dude, that's such a crazy, it's almost like you have to walk the Great Wall of China. But all you got to say, like Confucius did, is a journey of 1,000 steps starts with one.
Ooh, that's a good quote.
So take your first step, right? And it's the same thing. Like if your goal is 10,000 and you're not even making 1,000, make your first goal 1.
Yeah.
And then 2. And every time you make a certain amount of money, you know you can do it. Like I've been diced and shredded before. So now that I'm on my
bro, shut up, you're shredded right now.
I'm not shredded. Now that I know, because there's context. Now that I know, and it's relative. Now that I know I know I can do it. It's like, it's fun for me now.
Yeah.
Because it's like a game. You know what I mean? And the last thing I'll say, man, and I love the whole law of attraction, make your Wikipedia page. I love all of that. I think it's genius advice. Because he who can conceive can achieve, right? It's like a Bible thing. This is history from a long time ago. We just got to read these books. Retiring your dad, right? Like, it's so easy because it's like, dude, how much money would you need for him to not have to work?
Well, see, that's honestly where it gets difficult, because I'm at a point now where and this makes me sound so cocky, because like I don't like divulging this, but it's also like I don't think it's bad to gloat and when you have a successful business, because not a lot of people, like most people, businesses, they don't even fucking start, and then the people that do start, they like fail after 6 months, and then the 100%. Other ones fail after a year. And I think, what's it, like 2% of businesses are actually still in business after 3 years. Anyways, now this is like 5-year business into 5 years of business. I make enough money to where I could do whatever I want, and I could buy whatever I want, right? I mean, I'm not buying like a Lamborghini or shit. Like I don't really want a car, but other than that, like I can do whatever I want with the money. But in order to get him to retire, I'd have to make like a lot, because like, well, I don't want to say specific numbers, but it would be like a decent money. Like it would be like, if we combine that money and gave it to someone, just a one-shot payment, that's like life-changing money. Not to say I don't live lavishly. Like, okay, yeah, I made a podcast studio, but this is a business expense, right? Like that's literally, out of like the last 6 months, I've made a lot of money. I've given a lot to my financial investor, dude. This is like the most amount of money I've spent on shit, right? The second most, it's just a funny segue. The second most expensive shit that I bought a rug with my logo on it. It was supposed to like go on that table or on there, which I thought was really cool.
That's
like,
sick.
I'm a bit of a narcissist. I like my fucking logo. But the guy fucked me over. It was like $400, and I was like, dude, I have this podcast studio, I'm starting this, and this was like 2 weeks ago. I'm like, here's the specific date. I ordered it like 3 weeks ahead, and he never gave it. And then long story short, he's not gonna watch this. He can go fuck himself. I disputed it as fraud, and which it is.
Nice.
As a credit card. But yeah, the one other thing I want to mention, you said the sheep analogy, and I love that analogy, because my dad used to say it all the time. Everybody just wants to put you in a box. And I recently, Nick put me on his dude, I think, Vlad. Do you know Vlad? Like his therapist, like meditation dude.
Oh, no, I haven't heard of him.
So Nick sent me his dude, or one of his dudes, but he's very like inner peace Zen type of guy. Woo-woo. And to each their own, right? But I need someone like that. If it's not blatantly obvious, I'm fucking ADHD to a T. So to meditate and like, namaste, motherfucker. Like I need, but he gave me an analogy on the analogy that my dad gave me, which was like, yeah, Adam, like you were never meant to be put in a box. That's what's designed, right? Everybody's a sheep. They design the school. Elementary school stands for elementary because it teaches you the elements of life. High school is irrelevant, but it puts you in a box and it teaches you, okay, 8 a.m. to 3 p.m. because then you go from an adult and you go from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. So there's not much of a shift. And everybody, and you act out of line, okay, suspension. You act out of line, you get ridiculed. You feel like shit because you said something different, right? And then if you're really special, then they'll put you in like a very special school where like you're either really, really smart or you're really, really dumb. So then they'll put you in special ed. But the point is, everybody says bad. Like 95% say bad. They're fucking sheep. I am a cow. I say moo. And so that doesn't mix in traditional society. But when you put that same mindset and the same principles where it's like, I am not going into this fucking box. I'm going to go in an hexagon or a pentagon or whatever other shape other than a box. Is a box a shape? Whatever. I am a circle. I guess circles don't fit in squares. Okay. I figured that out when I was at my pediatrician and he had like the little shape game. But when you apply that same principle to business or entrepreneurship, then I think you strive, right? Because it's like, there's only like one me. There's not like, I'm not going to conform and like, I don't really take no for an answer for the most part. There's like also like a thing called the season of no, where it's like that's a Hormozy thing, which is kind of an extreme to a certain extent.
But I love the concept.
But the concept's good. I would caution people to go to the chronic fatigue thing. Like, he put a post out like a week ago where it's like, attention all 18 to 20 year olds. We need to, or 18 to 28 year olds. We need to normalize 12-hour workdays 7 days a week. And honestly, I can say doing it, like 99.9% will read that, be like, oh yeah, this guy's either insane, delusional, or I'm going to do it, or I'm doing it. I literally did it for fucking 6 months straight. And it led me to complete chronic fatigue. So there is a fine line balance with that. I would say if anyone's watching this and like they have a high work ethic, which I'm not to sound like a dick, it's improbable, because like my main niche is like weight loss. So if they just put like 10% of their effort into weight loss instead of binge watching Netflix, they'd probably like lose weight. But don't like grind yourself to the death, right? Like, cause it just, what's it going to yield? Like, you have to enjoy life a little bit. You have to take some R&R, some rest and recovery, or you shouldn't have to get to the point of needing to do a fucking sleep study and your doctor telling you, hey man, this is ridiculous. Like, take a day off, right?
Dang.
I kind of went all over the place, but
no, yeah. I think it's amazing, man. And it's funny because I relate with you 100%. I could never focus in school. If my parents, who were immigrants, by the way, if they knew enough about ADHD, they would take me to a psychiatrist, and I would be on Ritalin and Adderall and all that stuff.
I was on that.
And dude, I've taken those things, and holy shit. The first time I took Vyvanse, I'm like, I could actually focus?
Yeah.
And I wrote a university D-level paper, which is the 4th year paper. It was drugs in the brain was the class. I got a fucking A on I got like a 90-something%, and I did the whole thing in one day.
Yep.
Like 12 hours in a day. So that was like the first time I experienced what focus actually is. But the beautiful thing about us that are ADHD, which they call a disorder, which I think is a superpower.
It's a superpower.
If you know how to use it, holy shit, we're hunter types, dude.
Yeah.
If we lived back in the day in the savannah, we were the guys that were going out because we have pattern recognition. We get bored fast. So when we see some shit that's nothing's happening here, next bush, okay, animal, we got to figure out how to fucking capture that. So I think it's a superpower if you see it as one. And whether you think you can or you can't, you're right. That's my biggest thing in my life is like, if you choose, oh, I can't lose weight because of my this. Sure, you can't. And so I think the beautiful thing about having a coach like myself or yourself is we've crushed those limiting beliefs. So we can teach other people, like our clients, to be like, man, like I know you believe you can't, but I already see what you're gonna look like in 6 months.
100%.
And let me paint this picture to you, because once you fucking see this picture, it's done. Like my brother, okay? I'm just gonna shout out my brother because he's 20 years old. A couple years ago during COVID, he was pushing 260, 270. He was depressed, acne all over his face. Puffy gang. He couldn't even have a conversation because he had so low self-esteem, and I get it. I know what it's like, not to that extent, but fuck. My whole mission was like, dude, I want to get you to a place where you're confident and you love the way you look. If you see a picture of my brother now, I kind of want to show you a picture.
Is it on your Instagram?
I haven't. No,
I'm on your Instagram. I don't see it.
No, but I'm gonna make a post about it because he deserves his flowers, man. He put in the work. I taught him about social, like, you know, how to win friends and influence people.
This has to be brother.
So that's my brother. But let me show you a picture of him now, actually, because I'm so fucking proud of this guy. And I'm not gonna take the credit. I just showed him the path, and he fucking ran with it. And so sometimes all we have to do to our clients or to people that you love is paint the picture. You can't make somebody make a change, but you can inspire them to make a change. You can plant a seed. Here, let me just...
Yeah, just text it to me. I can pull it up on the screen.
Fucking beautiful, dude. Like, dude, yeah. This is not edited. It's completely like, you know... It's just the way he looks. Right. Let me actually take a screenshot because I don't want it to take too long.
No, it's okay. There's no pressure. It's not like we're live on a podcast. I'm just sharing with you.
All right, I'm gonna send an iMessage. Man, like he deserves to get blown up for this shit, man.
Deserves the flowers.
So he's 20 years old now.
Yeah.
And dude, he has the physique that guys would dream to have right now.
Yeah, that's actually solid. Here, let me put this on the screen. Or wrong way. There we go.
So like, dude,
yeah, that's solid. That's like, okay, for anybody watching on audio, maybe I'll make a clip out of this, but like he has, how do I describe? Like he has like Channing Tatum Magic Mike type of physique.
Fucking aesthetic. He could be a stripper if you wanted to.
No, he has like literally like chicks are going to drool off of him.
And brother, he's not even done yet. And the interesting thing is when I speak to him and all of my cousins and family, we went to a cottage and people couldn't believe what he looked like.
Yeah.
But he, in his mind, he's not there yet.
Wow. Okay.
You know what's crazy? Like,
but that's a good problem to have,
dude. It's a great
he's not
problem.
Content, right?
Yes, and because for so long, when you have a certain physique and you look a certain way, you act a certain way, people look at you that way, and you believe what other people believe to be about you. You have this picture of yourself, and Eckhart Tolle, the woo-woo guy, which I'm not sure if you've heard of him, Power of Now.
Oh, yeah.
He says some really good points about that. It's like, if you don't believe you look a certain way, and this happened to me. I got shredded a couple years ago, and what happened as soon as I got shredded? I gained all the weight back plus 20, because in my mind, I wasn't shredded. And so if you want to get to a certain point in life, whether it's money, whether it's physique, you need to every day visualize the dream. When you say, make your Wikipedia page, I fucking love it. Puffy is going to sell his company for $100 million. Why the fuck not?
Yep.
All you have to know is what. The how, the universe will figure the rest out. You just got to know the what. And so I put that in my brother's brain. I want you to believe. What's your dream? At that point, when you're 2'6", you can't think about having a six-pack.
Yeah.
Are you kidding?
Yeah.
You're just thinking about, how am I going to fucking go through this day with this lethargy that I have and this brain fog that I have? But if you keep reminding yourself that this is what I'm going to look like, I can't wait to look like this, that's what it tastes like, one day you're going to wake up and people are going to tell you, dude, how the fuck did you do that?
Yep.
Right? And so, yeah, man, I appreciate you pulling that up. I'm so proud of him. I'm so proud of my clients that have gotten there. And if I can impart any kind of wisdom is, guys, don't be afraid to dream about your best fucking life. Think about what's the dream. Write it on paper every morning and every night. Close your eyes and just imagine what that would feel like to have that. Just imagine how people would react and how women would talk to you, how your friends would look at you. And start to feel that, because eventually you're going to start attracting that.
It's just the law of attraction. And it's funny you say that, where the Power of Now, my grandma actually told me to read that
You're
book.
kidding. She's a smart lady, man.
Yeah, she put me on Tony Robbins too.
Woo!
I like Tony Robbins back in the day. I think now Tony Robbins, the business is booming, but like, you don't need to be charging $20,000 for some, anyways. But the thing I find fascinating is what you mentioned with your brother, where when you're 260, you can't see what he's at now, which is fucked. That's you need to post that, by the way.
I should.
Like, that's like a ridiculous transformation, and most people are gonna say, oh, it's fake, or it's not, and it's probably like, you just fuck the haters. But my first goal when I was 370, couldn't see my dick in the mirror, was not, oh, I want abs. No. If I had a genuinely, you could put me on a lie detector. If I had a time machine, I went back in time and showed myself a picture of my physique right now, literally would not believe you.
Dang.
I would only believe you if I told myself some type of secret bullshit that nobody on the planet knows. Like, literally, right? Like, I could not fathom. Like, it's a complete 180 to where I was like so fucking fat to where I'm at now. But the point with that is, like, you have to set realistic goals and expectations. You can't, oh, I'm 400 pounds. Okay, like, tomorrow I'm going to be 200. Like, what the fuck? That's setting yourself up for failure. It's like the 1% rule, or like the Finding Dory analogy that I tell all my clients. You have to just start and just keep swimming. Like, okay, you're at 100 steps now, go to 200, go to 300, go to 400. Just keep fucking swimming. And here's the other thing. Maybe you don't go from 400 to 500. Just do 400 again. Because it's in a matter of consistency and not fucking up. Because the only way you're going to fail is if you fuck up and you give up and you stop. So you keep going. You go to 400, you go to 500, you go to 600, you go to 700, you go to 800, you go to 900, you go to 1,000. Then maybe you fucking do it twice a day. Then maybe you fucking incorporate exercises. And then you go from 400 to 380 to 350 to all this shit. And then it happens. But it's not going to happen overnight. It's not going to happen if you have unrealistic expectations. You wake up 400 fucking pounds, you can't see your dick in the mirror, and you want abs. It's not going to happen. And the other point that you mentioned was when you can see your clients 6 months in the future and you want to help, and you can see, like, I know how to get you there. I have had clients recently where it's like, what the, just, and it's going to sound super graphic, and I am a bit of a blunt guy. So, like, I've always said this, there's 90% of people that fuck with me, the 10% that don't, I don't care. Like, don't listen to me, don't like me, don't work with me. I literally told them to shut the fuck up and follow the plan. I'm like, I was in your position. I've helped people do the exact same thing that you're struggling with. And all they did was shut the fuck up and follow the plan. So all you need to do is shut the fuck up and follow the plan. And yes, that sounds very dicky. And yes, that sounds very blunt. But guess what the fuck happened? I'm not going to name them, but there was 2 individuals who was not, I try to get everybody on a macro-based approach for the first 4 weeks, and then we go into like a meal plan. They weren't tracking shit with their macros. They were thinking they were tracking their macros. They weren't doing the scales. I knew their shit was off, because if it was on point, if what the numbers were they're sending me, if it was accurate, they would have lost weight. I'm like, shut the fuck up and follow this meal plan. And then, and that's my imitation of mocking them because they were complaining about the meal plan. And then what happened? They both dropped like fucking 20 pounds in the last 2 months, right? So Yeah, and I get really passionate. I get really animated because like this is, and it's the same with you when we talk about shit because we fucking care. This is not just like us. Like I'm not putting on a facade. I mean, I know you were an actor, but like you would have to be like Leo DiCaprio type of fucking shit to put on a performance, right?
Inside note: acting is not putting on a facade. It's literally becoming that character, and that's why Heath Ledger killed himself because he had a propensity to have depression or whatever, and he locked himself in a hotel room to fuel that person to become that character, and then he couldn't get out.
Yeah, that's the sad reality. And I think there was another really good like character, what is it called when you go into character? Method acting. There's a guy, Daniel Day-Lewis, and he retired.
One of my favorites.
Right? He retired from acting because he couldn't continue to fucking like embody that character. But that's a very valid point. But my point is where I'm not putting on like, I get animated, I get like kind of loud because I care and I'm passionate. And it's just like, at the end of the day, when we boil everything down, and it's the same thing with you, we just fucking want to help people. And what frustrates me is like they won't take the leap of faith, or not even the leap of faith. They just like, oh, okay, I'll just wait till Monday. I'll wait till next month. I had a chick I talked to yesterday. I gotta wait till September so my kids can go back to school. Lady, you've been fucking like your goal weight. She's been wanting to lose 30 pounds for 20 fucking years.
Dang.
For 20, I was like, when's the last time you were like at your goal weight? I think it was like she wanted to be like 150 or whatever. She's at 190. So like, I have not been that in my adult life. So then why are you waiting for September to fucking start? I'm not saying you need to go for 7 hours of cardio tomorrow. You could go for a fucking walk like now. We're on the phone. Go literally leave your fucking house. Now, you know, I think I'll wait a couple of weeks for September. Like that's it. Like fundamentally, that's. I mean, obviously, I named it the Start Yesterday podcast because it's a fucking sick name, and I'm great at marketing.
Amazing name.
But I was shocked it wasn't taken too. But also, like, shut the fuck up and start yesterday. Right? You have been struggling with this. It could be a day, it could be a week, it could be a month. More likely, it's been years or a decade of neglect, and that's how you get to such a bad point, such a depressed state, such a holy shit, you're so fucking unhealthy. Dare I say, a fat fuck? And I can say that because I was a fat fuck. Right? I would never be this blunt. I would never be this abrasive if I woke up with a six pack. Like some of these fucking delusional guys just sell like a fat loss supplement. That's the whole other story. But no, I can say that because I fucking feel the pain. I know the pain that you're going through. And what the fuck are you waiting for? Like, genuinely, are you like, some people need such a extreme wake up call. Like I was told I was gonna be dead from my doctor if by the time I was 24, I'd be dead right now.
Wow.
That still didn't get me to change.
Wow.
It took me a year later to I then changed, right? But some people, like, they're waiting for like a heart attack, blood pressure medication, or some people on blood pressure medication for a decade. But some people are waiting for like a heart attack or a stroke or like a family member dying of diabetes, and then they'll finally take a change. What the fuck, right? I mean, I had my coach was on the second episode of the podcast, and he made a very valid point. It's like some people need to realize, or like, as extreme as an example, go to the fucking ICU, and if any person in that ICU bed, they swap places with you in a second.
100%.
Right? And maybe some of them aren't there because they're like 300 fucking pounds, but they're very unhealthy, and they would switch places with you in a second. And people need to understand the like perspective and take action and be motivated. And that's my TED talk, and I'm very passionate about this because I want to help people. There's a lot to unpack, but yeah, that
is great, man. And I love the passion, and I fucking.
Oh, I had one more thing. Sorry. Okay, when you said to help people for free, right? And I touched on, or you touched on that like 40 minutes ago. I have genuinely tried to help people for free, and the thing with that, nobody takes it seriously, right? And some friends and family, they'll just ask you just for the sake of it. And I don't really ever expect like friends or family, if I give them a fucking anything. Like I've tried training my mom like 5 times. It's just not oil and water. It's not mixing, right? That's not going to work. But if it could be business, it could be health, it could be really anything under the sun. Like, would you trust a mechanic if he's like, oh, I'll just do your car for free? Right? No, you have to put some level of fucking investment. Not everybody has different things. Like you work with CEOs, like they're obviously 6-figure, 7-figure top G's, but some people can invest $100 a month or $1,000 a month, whatever it is. You won't do shit if it's for free. You just psychologically is not going to do it. Right? I just wanted to put that in. Now you have the floor.
Dude, you're 100% right. When you pay attention.
Ooh. Facts.
People that don't pay, they don't pay attention. And we've been through it, giving all of our friends and their moms free fitness plans, and they don't follow it. You ask them in a week, how's it going? Oh, bro, I'm going to start tomorrow. I'm going to start the next day.
Start Monday.
Dude, the best time to start was yesterday. And I love that it's your fucking name because I love saying that shit, man. The second best time is today, right?
Yeah.
And there was a couple of different points I want to make. The first one is, that used to bug me a lot too when people weren't ready for it. or weren't ready to make a change, and they're saying they want to wait. And I completely get it, because most people think that way. And I think that the reason that, say, that woman wants to start in September is because I don't think she believes that she can do it.
100%.
And so I think for me, the way I look at it is like, I love 100% responsibility. I want every problem in my life to be directly related to me. I want to take responsibility for it. So the way I look at it is, because I studied psychology, I have my bachelor's in psychology, not even tooting my own horn. I just was kind of pressured by my parents to do it, but I'm so thankful for it, because human behavior, once you understand how human behavior works, you understand that, okay, she's not ready for it yet. So now it's my duty to see if I can plant that seed some way, somehow, or at least to give her an impression that she might be able to. And people don't like necessarily getting advice, right? Unless they ask for it. So by just giving people that faith and that idea that it's possible, sometimes they might come back to you. But I've started doing this thing where I don't even offer my services to anybody unless they ask for it. Like, I don't even like approach leads. I just start conversations in the DMs because I just like talking to people. Yeah. But I like the referrals, because when someone has worked with me, and I know when someone has worked with you, they have a good experience, they're going to tell 10 people about it.
Yeah.
And Hormozy says the most scalable version of like marketing is word of mouth.
100%.
And it's the cheapest form.
And it's the law of, but the way you're doing it is the way a lot of people, we're just dripping in sauce. Like, explaining this, because most trainers don't get this, it's the law of reciprocity. So if you lead with value, and you lead with like, oh my God, what a concept, I actually give a shit, right? It's not like I'm just working at Good Life. Oh, come in for your free consultation so I can fucking pitch you for a year, right? No, you're genuinely just having banter and helping people. And then if it's happenstance where then they're like, hey man, like, I like what you're saying, can you help me? Then it's like, sure, right? But it's not like, oh, can I ask you 7 questions? And if you answer all these questions that are obligatory and fucking very obvious to understand, let's get on a sales call, right?
And for me, sales, like I had to break this illusion in my head where sales has to be some cheesy like Wolf of Wall Street type thing, and it's completely not. The best salespeople are problem solvers. If you get on a call with somebody and they have a problem, as simple as this, and like the problem is like losing weight or whatever it is, and you have a solution in your back pocket, you have the answer, you know exactly what they need to do, and they fucks with you, you like the energy, they like your energy, you would be a fucking jerk to not say, hey man, I know how to help you. And by putting a dollar amount, it's like, dude, I have the solution to your problem, but this takes me time, and my time is worth a lot because I put so much time and effort into this. If you really want to see the results, pay me. And if you want to see really good results, pay me more. Because the more someone pays, the more it stings, and the more they're like, now I have to fucking do it. Yeah. Now I have to prove a point. It's like the sunken cost fallacy, right? It's like some people will be in a relationship for 7 years because they're in a relationship for 7 years. They don't want to stop it now, even if it's shitty. But when you put something on the line, you're more likely to do it too. And, you know, I'm really grateful for my degree in psychology. At first, I was like, oh, I wasted time. I wasted money. I worked throughout the whole thing, so I paid it off right away.
Sick.
But I learned so much about the human brain, how humans interact with the world and themselves. And really importantly, if you guys don't know about the nervous system, like the nervous system, if you learn about the nervous system, it'll change your whole life.
Yeah.
Energy management, I think, is one of the most important things ever.
Yeah.
If you know how to manage your energy, you have the ability to then do multiple podcasts in a day. Otherwise, you can tire yourself out, and for the next guy, you're just like, But energy can be created like this. Like, it's just from thin air. This right here, we're giving each other energy.
Yeah.
And when you hang out with people that are like, say, vampires, right? Some people will suck your energy from you because that's what they do to themselves.
Well, the quote is like, your depiction, or your, I don't know what the word is other than depiction.
The amalgamation.
Yeah, you're like a sum of like the 5 people you hang out with the most, right?
Fuck yeah, dude.
So we're like, yeah, we were talking about like we were the sum of like the 5 people you hang out with the most, where it's a matter of like them sucking the energy out of you, or like the energy you put into each other, right? And if you just hang out with a bunch of people like vampires, or you hang out with a bunch of people that are not on the same level, where they have the same passion, the same drive, and it's like, you don't have to be in the same fucking industry, but just like energy level wise, right? Like, it doesn't make any sense to hang out with them all the time.
100%. One of the best pieces of advice I can give people, because I've taken this myself and it's changed my life, is first of all, figure out what you want, right? That's like number one. Most people think about what they don't want, like, oh, I don't want to be poor, I don't want to have shitty relationships, I don't want a partner that is bad for me. Stop thinking about that shit. Start thinking about what you do want. What's the best possible situation of how you look, how you feel, the relationships you have. So start there. Once you have that, then think about, okay, what kind of skills or qualities do I need to be that person? So what I did is like, okay, first of all, if I want to coach executives, if I want to be that guy for CEOs and executives, I should start hanging around CEOs and executives. Once I started doing that, I started to see how they speak. I started to see how they think. And because I'm the executive of my company, I'm the CEO of my company, I had to become like that way too. So you start to become that person. You're the leader that you're supposed to be to lead your team and your clients. And then what I started also doing, this is the tip, by the way, is find those people, and if you have to, pay them. 100%. Even if you're broke, even if you have debt, I don't give a fuck. Take a credit card.
Yep.
Find the person that's within your vicinity or even in a different country. We live in a globalized world. You can speak to anybody you want. Figure out the guy that has the best life that you can possibly imagine. Yeah. The guy that you love to be like. Message him on IG, Facebook, whatever. Find his number. Be like, yo, what's your rate?
Yeah.
And he'd be like, what? What's your hourly rate? I don't care what number he says. If you can get a hold of that money, pay that guy.
It's the same. Hormozy has the same analogy where it's like, why pay for someone who's going to run Facebook ads for you? Right, when you could literally just pay the Facebook guy to teach
you how to do it. And that's what he said in $100 billion leads. Fucking genius. Because you're paying whatever. It's probably a big amount of money for you.
It's a lot more. But then if you think about the LTV or like you paying this ad guy like a couple $100 a month, just pay him for the year, and then you have that skill for the rest of your life.
And you'll never be broke again if you have a skill like that, right? So that's what I did. I found a guy that does something that I wanted to do, which is coach executives and pretty much optimize their energy. And for me, the whole thing is optimization. I just want to be optimal. Whatever, everyone has their own definition of optimal, but I know what optimal means for me, so I was going for that. So I paid the guy. He's like, I never done this before. He gave me a pretty high number, and I'm like, fuck it. I just said sure. I thought it was going to be more, to be honest, but I did it, and I just milked him for everything he had. And he was so proud to be able to give me that information. He wanted to help me.
That's awesome.
We're still friends. And that's the craziest thing.
I want to know who this is, but you'll tell me after.
I'll tell you after. Yeah. You don't know what you're going to get from something. Don't expect anything, because he could have been on the call and for the whole hour been like, yo, you're good. Just fucking keep doing what you're doing. And that would have been fine, because you're saving so much fucking time and failures by just paying for somebody else's failures.
Well, that's a perfect segue to wrap up, because it's like kind of everything we talked about, where you're paying for knowledge, you're paying for experience, you're paying for motivation, you're paying for fast tracking results, and you're proof. Like, you literally got the results when in business. I'm literally proof of like hiring a coach, working with the coach, shutting the fuck up, following the plan, literally getting results, right? What I like to do to end each episode is obviously all your information, we'll plug all the stuff on the YouTube description with the Instagram and whatnot. But to quote Sean Evans from Hot Ones, you have that camera, and that camera. Mainly that camera for the hard cam. Let the people know what you got going on.
So thank you guys. If you made it this far, then you clearly enjoyed our conversation.
You have an attention span longer than a peanut.
You have a pretty big attention span, probably bigger than ours. But if you like my shit, real Aaron Sharif. That's my name. You can find me on.
Very creative.
I was like, fuck it, yo, it's not that complicated. You'll remember it. I'll remember it in case I forget. And
that's fucking hilarious.
And I'm working on a school community called the Optimal Man Blueprint, where we take a man from being in a position where they're not happy to becoming the most optimal version of themselves. It's going to be super inexpensive and super valuable. That's so awesome. Keep your eyes open for that. Follow me, and love.
Yeah, that goes to a lot of what you were saying, where you want to be the sum of the 5 people and have experience from other people. I have a school community as well.
Sick.
So it's like ghost town. Nobody's active in it. Hopefully that'll be different for yours. Mine's more like a course where like people what's it called? They can like learn the weight loss, macros, nutrition.
Dude, that's sick, man.
However, like people, I think with weight loss, dude, it's like people are scared to share. It's like very private and info. It's like, oh, I lost 5 pounds. Yeah, that's like great, but like people are like shelled in, right? But if anybody's watching or interested in that, it's gonna be, I think, the second link or third link in the YouTube description. It's genuinely free. If you're on your weight loss journey, you just want to learn more about that, just fucking join it. Like I'm not gonna pitch you or anything like that. It's literally just made to help people. Like I made it so like I wish I had that when I was going through my health and fitness journey, because I didn't know who the fuck to listen to, what to do. I just kept watching all these steroid guys on YouTube.
I'm gonna watch that.
Anyways, if you have genuinely made it all the way here, I appreciate it. Drop a comment down below if there's any questions you have. Eventually I want to do like a Q&A episode. Do the like, because it helps with the algorithm. Subscribe, and then on Spotify there's like a new feature now. You could do a comment on there as well. And if you've listened to 3 episodes by now, which you probably hopefully have, leave a review. Just say I'm sexy. I don't know. But until next time, thanks for watching.